Ciao a tutti. That's Italian for hello, everyone. So I ordered these cars off of eBay back in December, and they finally came in. These are all Kyosho cars, and there should be 10 of them in here. There's going to be one Camaro, two Volkswagens, and then the rest will be Ferraris. Okay guys, I'm back and everything checks out as to what I ordered. I got a Camaro, two VWs, and then the rest are Ferraris. And you can see, a lot don't have wheels because they're those model kits where they give you a little screwdriver and you have to assemble your own wheels. You basically put the rubber tire on the wheels, you pop them into this body here, you take the interior off, put the axles in, put it together, screw it back in, and you're done. But there are other videos on YouTube showing you how to assemble these cars, so I'm not going to do that here. I just want to talk about the cars themselves, learn a little bit about the actual real cars that these models are representing. So, here's your classic muscle car. It was actually a reaction to the Ford Mustang, which came out before, and Chevy, Chevrolet was like, hey, the Mustang is selling like hotcakes, let's come up with a competitor. And Chevy also had the Corvair, but that thing was rear-engined. And Ralph Nader, who was an automotive activist about safety, made a movie, and it pretty much killed off the Corvair. So, this pretty much mimicked the Mustang with the front engine. You could get a inline six or V8s in there. And this SS means Super Sport. It's just an option package. A lot of different options you could buy with these cars. I think this might be a 1968. I've looked up photos and they have these squarish shapes on the hood. But the first generation Camaro was 1967 through 1969. So I'm not exactly sure what year this is. Any Camaro experts, please let me know. I'm guessing though, based on the shape of that, this is a 68 model. But yeah, it's looking nice. I mean, it's a little die casting issue there. Maybe they roughed it up too much with like a file or something like that. But we have a metallic paint here. Printing of the SS on the back there. Those are actually plastic inserts, I think. Yeah, that's not painted, even though those are really thin taillights. Look at the top. Nice. Yeah, weird. There's like a water stain in the rear deck there. Kind of weird. The wheels look nice. Nice stamped steel wheels, I'm assuming. So 350 cubic inch, so this must be a V8 in this particular car here. You have the printing here, Camaro SS. So, yeah, it's represented very well. There's a physical grill here. It's not printed on. You can actually feel the ridges of the black plastic here. And then the headlight covers. Also, no, that's smooth, but the lines are just printed silver. So, interesting. I don't know what these bumps are here. I don't, well, sorry, I'm blocking the view, but what are these bumps under the front bumper? Any Camaro owners, Camaro fans? Are they just plugs to have like fog lights? I'm not sure. I mean, these are the struts of the bumper here. Interesting. And again, a lot of these older cars, they only have one side view mirror. There's a driver's side view mirror, but there isn't one on the passenger side. So I guess that was an option back in the day to actually get two side view mirrors. I actually remember that. I think even up until the 80s, it might have been an option to get a passenger side mirror there. We got the little vent there. I don't think that's a real vent on the real car. I think it's just styling. I could be wrong. Alright, so that's a nice model. No, nothing major. A little blemish there, paint contaminant there, but I'm okay with it. Alright, so let's go into this Volkswagen here, this old guy here. The Volkswagen Type 181. This is also known by many different names. I think in the US it was called the Thing, kind of like the Marvel character, especially in this orange. It was also called the Safari, the Trekker, the Courier wagon, and the Pescaccia, I think in Italy. So it had many different names. It was made, many different countries, different factories in different countries. How this thing came about, it was the West German Army, before the wall came down, they wanted a cheap, military vehicle. and they approached VW, and VW was actually hesitant to make a vehicle like this, but they saw the success of Volkswagen Beetle powered dune buggies, and then the Mexican market was asking for a cheap, rugged vehicle for the rural dirt roads of Mexico. And so Volkswagen management saw an opportunity more for the civilian market than the military market, so they decided to produce this. And they developed it pretty cheaply because it uses like the mechanicals of the Beetle. The floor pan was from the Carmen Ghia, and other parts came from the Type 1 van, the Type 2 van. So they basically used a lot of parts from existing VWs, so they managed to make it cheaply. And this thing was made from 1968 all the way up until 1983, so it was pretty successful. It's to me it seems like the ultimate like beach vehicle because you can remove the doors and the front windshield will flip down, and I think you can remove the whole convertible top there. So it just becomes like a steel interior, almost like an old Jeep, CJ. So you can just probably rinse it out with a hose if you wanted to. So I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of interesting. There's the two exhausts because it has a flat 4-cylinder from the Beetle. All right, the model has the plastic taillights, which is cool. Very nice. I enjoy the corrugated stamping. These corrugations are for strength. The more material, the more dents and curves and creases you put into a body panel, the stronger it becomes. If it was just flat, it would be like floppy in the wind and stuff like that. I like the wheels. They're extremely plain, but I like them. Unfortunately, there's no like VW stamping in the center of the hubcap. It's just a flat circle. Oh well. I'm assuming this silver dot is the gas cap. I don't know for sure. I don't think I've even seen one of these in the real world. I don't think I've ever seen one in person, but it's cool. I like it. I can totally understand someone wanting to own this thing. Alright, so I like the orange color. Pretty thin tires, because this is look how narrow the tires are. So Kyosho's really good at getting that sort of stuff down. If we go to the Camaro, obviously much thicker tires because it's a hot rod. Alright, so again with most Kyoshos, it's just a totally black interior. They do mold details in there, but they don't actually paint anything. But these are pretty budget oriented pricing. These things came in some of the original boxes, so I'll try to zoom out here and we can take a look at this. You'll notice here they actually write 420 yen. That's $4.20 basically. So that's a great car for $4.20. Now I don't know when this came out, this series. I don't see like a year or anything like that. Here are the models you can get in the series. I'll try to pick up some of these other ones later maybe. But that's a really inexpensive model. So very nice. Okay. So next model up, we have the VW Nardo. Now this one's interesting because it's actually just a concept car, but it actually set world speed records as a fully functioning concept vehicle. So it's strange that they never manufactured it. Whoa, look at that. The whole roof is clear. It's all transparent. Wow, hold on. Let me tilt the camera down more so there's more of the photo booth light there. So obviously there's a roll cage going on. And then I'm guessing this blue and red thing on the front might be the suspension actuators or some sort of strut brace. It looks like those are springs. Nice yellow color here. Right. There was an active aerodynamic wing here, and then obviously a diffuser, flat bottom. So the Nardo, the name comes from the test ring in Nardo, Italy. And this car, they had two previous versions of the Nardo concept, but this one is the third one, and it actually worked and was driven. And in 2002, it set the world record for a 24-hour distance. It actually went 4,402 miles at an average of 185 miles per hour. So you gotta remember, this thing was just a concept car, but really it worked. So it's pretty impressive. See the diffuser. Kyosho did a good job with the exhaust tips. I can see, you know, the black dot in the middle. I'm trying to see if it's actually, I think it's just a solid black plastic and they painted the silver ring. But that's better than nothing. It's better than just a flat, solid paint dot, you know, like Aoshima seems to do. Yeah, the wheels are kind of boring, but I guess that's just the way the vehicle was. But really, it's this thing, this view you're looking at. I did not know that. I didn't catch that in the photographs of this car when I was looking online, researching it. So anyways, very neat. Okay, so let's get to some Ferraris here. I mistakenly ordered two of this car. I don't know what I was thinking, but I ended up with two. One's just blue, one's just yellow. The bread and butter mid-engine car from Ferrari. This one is back in 1995 that they released the 355 GTS. In 1994 they released the regular 355, and it basically is an update to the 348. They took the 348, redesigned some body panels, bored out the engine, and actually added 5 valves per cylinder instead of 4. So it's a 3.5 liter 5 valve. That's the reasoning behind the name of this vehicle. Alright, so got some fog lights painted there, but the I'm guessing these large plastic things must be the turn signals and running lights. Silver prancing horse, Ferrari logo, pretty nice. We got a nice metallic blue. These are standard dark blue from Kyosho. Ferrari printed on the rear deck here, right? Again, nice Ferrari logo there, 355 GTS. Oh, and yes, physically molded exhaust tips, not just painted rings, like on the Nardo. So that's nice. Okay. Black interior, a lot of molded details. The seats aren't in there because, again, this is a model kit. So let's take a quicker look at the yellow. Now here's the problem with the solid colors, especially white and yellow. You can, on the edges, you can very often see the darkness of the die casting, unless you lay the paint on super thick. On this model, they did a good job. It's not super thick. You can still see the depth of the body panel lines, so that's nice. Actually, this one's pretty good. Let me look at it with the naked eye now. Yeah. I'm not catching a lot of that die-cast zinc behind the paint thing, which I noticed on a lot of models. A little contaminant there, but okay, so that's cool. We'll need to dwell on that car too much. Alright, so next up we have the F430 Challenge. Now the F430 is the successor to the, no it's not, well it's the successor to the F360, so there should be a car in between here, the 360, but I don't have that in this particular order. But anyways, the F430, let's see, it came out in 2004, but they released a challenge, which is this non-street legal racing version in 2007. So this non-street legal challenge, basically they just strip out the whole interior to reduce weight, and they give a little bit of a better suspension. But to my understanding, the engine is the same as the street car. And they made, let's see, looking here in my notes, they made 142 of these things between 2007 and 2010. People guess maybe half of them were crashed, or more than half were crashed, so there aren't too many of these out in the real world anymore, less than 100. So model-wise, very nice printing. You know, you got this white stripe, double stripe there. The wheels are pretty good. Strange, it's not even screwed down. There's not even a screw hole for this. That's kind of weird. That's new for me. I haven't, usually Kyosho bases have a screw. Diffuser, underbody, the silver horse in the back. So interesting choices that go on here. You have a physically molded exhaust, you know, these exhaust tips, but there's no silver. Maybe on the race car it's just plain titanium, I guess, and it's covered with carbon soot, so they didn't bother painting those. Indication of the engine and the interior. headlights, right? Okay. A little molded in grill pattern, it seems. So not bad, not bad. I'm okay with this one as well. Okay. So next one up. The Scaglietti. Let's see, this one came out in 2004. This is the 612 Scaglietti. It was designed by Ken Okayama when he was working at Pininfarina. And this is a 5.7 liter V12 up front. This is their Grand Tourer, where the other Ferraris so far have been the mid-engine sports cars. So this is just a big giant vehicle meant for Grand Touring. You can see it should be a little bit longer. Wheelbase might be longer. It's 2+2, so if you're really small children, you can fit 2 kids in the back. I like the styling of this. It's very clean. You know, it's very elegant. Very long hood, of course, because the mid-engine up front. And a short tail. And even though this is a Grand Tourer, the real car is actually pretty fast. It can go 199 miles per hour, getting from the 540 horsepower engine. And it has an aluminum body. Around 3,000 of these vehicles are made in the real world. Alright. So, just checking the details of the diecast itself. They seem to have gotten lazy. I think this is a reflector or a turn signal or something. And it's not painted or anything. It's just the same color as the rest. The door handle, or what is that? Is that a casting error? No, it's definitely the same on both sides. I'm not sure what that is. It's like 2 dots. Weird. I don't know. But I feel whatever they are, they should probably have some silver or something in there. Like that's probably a keyhole. Maybe that's a tiny like door handle that you pull out forward or something. But no paint. The mufflers, exhaust tips, they're physically molded, which is nice. You can see the depth, but you know, I feel like this should have been hit with some silver instead of just being black like that. There's a little ridge here, probably for a reflector, but no paint in there. So, I don't know what happened, but Kyosho got a little lazy on this particular model. It's kind of a shame. The front grille, it is physically molded and then painted silver, so that's nice. Kind of half-half on the opinions of that one. Not sure what to think there. And then also this one, the seats are actually molded into that. Whereas on the 355, there's separate seats that I have to put in. Okay, well. Alright, so the next one up, we have the Superamerica, which is based off the 575 Maranello. Alright, so yeah, the seats I'll have to add later. Let's just look at the body here. So same, is it the same blue, pretty much? Okay. It is a nice blue. I mean, it's really glossy. Nice clear coat going on. So, good job. Alright, so what makes it the Superamerica? It has a convertible hardtop. Unfortunately, it's down. So we can't see it, but there actually is a glass thing that on the real car flips up. And it's photoelectric, meaning I guess it could, with electricity, block out a lot of the light. And this has a slightly more powerful engine than the regular Maranello. So you'll notice here, if you the windshield, there's something went wrong here. This blue paint is running into the windshield. So that's really strange, because one would think that they would paint the body, let it dry, and then add the plastic windshield later. But it's almost like they painted it and then added the windshield while the paint was still wet, and then it ran onto this. I can't imagine why that would occur at a toy factory. You don't assemble toys with wet paint. But I don't know if anyone else has any other theories than that. Please leave a comment, let me know. Alright. Well, anyways, the paint on this is really nice. It's just the details are kind of lacking. Again, we just have the black exhaust tips. There's no like silver or paint on them. So there is some printing there. It says Superamerica on there. And then the third brake light, there's a little red there. The badge, the horse, this grill. Now this grill is just, the silver, I think it's just printed on a smooth black surface. But what is neat is the vents here, the brake duct vents, they actually are physically going through the body. Or they could have easily blocked it off and then just painted it black. So that's kind of neat, I think. Pretty cool. I like it. Alright, no need to dwell on that one too much further. Alright, so now we're getting into some performance. The 599 GTB Fiorano. And this auto is, just like the VW, is named after the test track. Or in Italy, their test circuit. Whereas the Nardo for VW is a different test circuit. Okay, so this thing has a 6-liter V12 and makes 612 horsepower in the real world. And when I mentioned sports car, you know, this thing goes 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. That's really fast for a GT, or I mean, is it a GT? Maybe it's not a GT, because I don't know if those are supposed to be rear seats in there. Or just like luggage storage. If you look at the back window, what the heck is that? I don't know what that is. Anyways, okay, so part of the reason why this car can accelerate so fast and perform so well is this thing has now gone to an all aluminum chassis, whereas the Maranello was a steel chassis with aluminum body panels. This whole thing is an aluminum monocoque, so it's a lot lighter than steel. So naturally it can go faster with a lighter weight. Okay. It also has magnetic dampers. You know, the suspension is magnetically activated, which I think Cadillac may have been one of the first companies to do that. And this was designed by a gentleman, Jason Castriota. He's designed some cool cars. Alright, so again, you know, it's the same blue, which is nice, I guess. The wheels are nice. Yeah, there we go. But the exhaust tips, no paint on them. And in this case, because they're such small diameter tips, they're just a flat, round shape. You know, it's kind of weak, I think. So it's almost like inflation. Seems like there's some cost-cutting measures going on as the Kyosho puts out more recent, more modern Ferraris here. Okay. Speaking of which, this is the latest Ferrari that in this batch. This is the successor to that 599 GTV. This is the F12 Berlinetta. And this is now a 6.3 liter V12. And it has a 7-speed transmission, which the other cars previous had 6-speed transmissions. And this thing has been produced from 2012 up until 2017. And just like the previous, it's an all aluminum chassis. But now we have carbon fiber brakes as standard, whereas it was an option on the last car. And then what's interesting for this, aerodynamics was a critical part of its development. So this thing has active air ducts for the braking systems. So I'm assuming it's these things here, you know, a brake duct, but there's a door that'll open and close based on whether or not the brakes are hot. If the brakes are hot, the duct opens, cools off the brakes. But otherwise it's shut, so it's more aerodynamic and can go faster or save more fuel. So you can see the evolution, I guess, of the styling. You know, it is the successor here. Let's see here. Do this. It's kind of like the swoop on the side here. Whereas on the older car, you have this tiny little vent here. Now this is just enlarged and swooping up. So interesting. Although this one was just designed by the Pininfarina design house. Doesn't get credit from an individual person. I've never actually looked at this car in the real world, so I'm taking a good look at this. I find this vent interesting. Must be for the radiator. And then we have two vents in the back here. Is that to reduce air pressure in the wheel well? I'm not sure. Interior, again, nice molding, just all black. Pretty hard to see what's going on. And then for such a new car, I mean, model-wise, for a die-cast model, you see the roof, you can see the paint rash is already beginning. So that's a shame. Although, if the real car came out in 2012, maybe this die-cast came out in 2012, or even before. So this might just be an old model. Okay, well, at least this time around, the exhaust tips are silver, and they're physically molded in the middle depths, so that's nice. It's a nice refreshing advancement from the three previous models here. I'm not sure what this is. Braking? LED brakes or something? Not sure. Okay. Well, mine has the paint rash on this. It's alright, I guess. But most of the other ones, from what I see, don't have paint rash, which is nice, because I'm guessing they're all pretty old. Okay, well, it's kind of a mess, sorry. So, if any of you guys are fans of Ferraris, or that Nardo is a really cool car. I think the Nardo is my favorite car of this batch here, just because of that single pane of view of the whole top. I am liking the Thing as well, or the 181. Two total opposites, you know, so boxy, so utilitarian, and then world speed record. An old world speed record. Okay, well anyways, I'm rambling on, so alright, we'll catch you the next time. See ya.